What's going on, my beautiful people? Welcome back to another Myer Travels video. If you guys haven't subscribed yet, hit the subscribe button. It really does help the channel. Today I'm going to be doing something a little bit different, guys. So recently I traveled to Mogadishu, Somalia, a country in East Africa, for those who aren't familiar. It's a country that has a lot of stereotypes, mystery, and kind of myth attached to it. And I was lucky enough to go there myself and kind of see the truth and the reality of things, as I always try to do. I think a lot of times media, and mainstream media I should say, kind of has a narrative and portrays things through a certain way that they're told to portray things through. But me as a vlogger who travels the world and goes to many different countries, my goal is to just show things the way I see them from my experience. And so this right here is my honest truth and opinion about traveling to Somalia. By the way, guys, if you haven't watched my 4-part Somalia series, I'm gonna leave the link right here. You guys go watch the series first and then come back to this video. This probably make more sense after you see that. Number 1, arriving to Somalia. Now, obviously, going into Somalia, I was a little bit nervous. So upon arrival, even at the airport, I was worried that maybe my paperwork wasn't going to be right. Now, you do need an invitation letter. So I have a lot of friends who are Somali, and they actually welcomed me. They gave me the invitation letter. I stayed with one of my friends at his home. If you guys watched the video, you would have seen. Now, my experience was obviously a little bit different. People who are just traveling there with no connections, you're gonna have to obviously book a hotel and things like that, but you still need the invitation letter no matter who you are. So I arrive at the airport, Aden Ade International Airport in Mogadishu, and I get to the immigration line. It was pretty fast. There's not a lot of incoming flights. So funny enough, I mean, my experience at immigration was kind of so pleasant. The girl was so nice. She even wanted to speak Hindi because she watches Indian movies, and I speak Hindi, obviously. So, you know, we had a little back and forth conversation, but it was so nice. She was like, "Welcome to Mogadishu. I hope you have a great time, blah, blah, blah." Not too many questions asked. And yeah, it was pretty pleasant welcoming. Number 2, is Somalia safe to visit or travel to? Now, this is a question that gets asked a lot. Obviously, a lot of the things that you see, like I said, on mainstream media, or even in travel vlogs, the majority of the travel vlogs that show Somalia, they're always showing the guns, the oh, Somalia, the most dangerous country in the world, and trying to, like, you know, make sensationalized content to get more clicks. And my goal was completely different. My goal was to show the other side, which people don't usually show. And yeah, I mean, one thing about Somalia is there's a lot of guns. So you do see a lot of security, police, army, a lot of checkpoints that we had to stop at. Luckily, I have friends who are kind of connected. So, you know, a lot of people were getting upset, like, "Oh, why were you riding around in, you know, official vehicles?" It was because I have that connection. And also, it's not about safety more so, but it kind of is about, like, getting through these checkpoints. As a civilian, getting through these checkpoints is really, it can take time, especially to some of the places that we were going. Like when we went to the beach and the desert that day, there's so many checkpoints. So having access to the vehicle just made it a little bit easier and seamless. But that's not to be said that you cannot just go there and ride around in a rickshaw as a foreigner or a local. Most locals take bajajas, as they call them, but rickshaws, and that's like the main form of transportation. Honestly, for the most part, I felt safe. Like, there wasn't too many moments where I didn't feel safe. Yeah, like I said, there's guns. Like, you know, that's something that I've seen in so many countries that I've traveled to that I'm kind of used to it. But obviously, if you come from a place where you don't see a lot of guns and then you travel there, you're gonna be like, "Whoa, this is scary," you know. But even I'm from America. Every police officer, every army, no matter, even security guards have guns. So, like, the guns didn't really spook me out. And the thing that a lot of people need to remember is the guns and the checkpoints and the things that you see are not to scare you or intimidate you. They're more for your protection. So that kind of made me feel good to know that, okay, like, you know, there is always an official around, God forbid something was to happen. But, you know, Somalia has a troubled past. So a lot of people, you know, latch their view of Somalia onto what happened in the past. Now, there's a lot of countries that have troubled and conflicted past. I mean, even till this day, you know, there's wars going on, civil wars, which is what happened in Somalia. And there's a lot of foreign influence of people coming in and trying to take resources and colonization. And Somalia does have a troubled past, but they're trying to move forward past that, and that's why my goal was to kind of try to show another side. But I honestly, for the most part, I felt pretty safe, you know. Now, I'm not gonna sit here and tell you it's the safest country in the world and you should take your family there and just go walk around. Like, obviously there are precautions and things that you need to take before going to a place like that, and I don't think Somalia is first on everybody's itinerary. But if you are a Somali person or a diaspora or somebody who's looking to travel, I would say, I mean, it's really like, it's not that bad, especially nowadays. It's gotten a lot better, I think, in the past 5 to 10 years. So that was my experience. Again, I could be wrong. Like I said, this is just my personal opinion. So now let's talk about what's beautiful, what's nice about Somalia. So, well, I should say Mogadishu, because I didn't really travel outside of Mogadishu. So first thing I have to say is, man, like, just upon landing, you see like the most beautiful view of the Indian Ocean. You see the beaches, you see how blue and clear that water is. And honestly, like, if you didn't tell me it's Somalia, it could be any of the most beautiful beaches in the world. It's the Indian Ocean, one of the longest coastlines in the world, 3,300 kilometers of coastline. Absolutely stunning. And that was one thing I was just like so impressed by. Another thing I love about Somalia and Somali people is just the way that they talk to each other. Like, I've been around Somali people a lot. Obviously, a lot of these people in my videos are good friends that I've known for over 10 years. So I know what the Somali culture is like even before going there. But being there and actually experiencing it over there, like seeing how the people talk with each other, how they laugh with each other, how they kind of just like you know, banter with each other. And sometimes it looks like Somali people are like fighting, but they're actually just like having fun and talking with each other. And if you don't know about their culture, you might be like kind of weirded out by it, or you might feel a little bit like, whoa, what's happening? But when you know Somali people, you know it's just they're having fun. It's banter a lot of times. They're just joking, and I like that about the culture. It's like, yeah, they know how to have a good time, go back and forth, laugh. You see a lot of the people in Somalia literally, like, for fun, they sit down, they have chai, they have tea, and they just talk. And that's something that's like, you know, going away in a lot of modern developing countries, because, like, you know, people are usually on their phones or they're just busy doing something with technology, which isolates them, you know. But the culture of getting together and talking, that was just something that was so nice to see. And honestly, I know this may sound weird, but, you know, a lot of the countries I travel to, the capital cities are like super modern. Like, you know, they've redone the roads, the buildings, the infrastructure is so updated that you don't see the raw and original form of what that country or what that city looked like. And I think Mogadishu, for the most part, it's developing now, and maybe in the next 5 to 10 years it won't look like what it looks like when I went there. But when I was there, I got to just experience like these old buildings, and some of them are even like, you know, decrepit, they're falling apart, but like there's a certain charm to that. Now, maybe the locals don't like it. I don't know. Maybe I'm speaking as a privileged person who gets to go there for a few days and then leave. But I just, something about that, like that old charm, not like a little bit rough around the edges. And yeah, I don't know. That was just really, really cool. Also, the 5G service, I was really impressed with the phone service. It was really, really good. Like better than a lot of countries I've been to in even like Europe, in Asia. Like, I was always connected, and it was like 5G fast. I could go scroll the internet, and yeah, I was really impressed by that. I didn't expect that. But yeah, I mean, those were the things that I guess I kind of really enjoyed about Somalia. Obviously the food, the fresh juice was amazing as well. I love the fresh juice. But yeah, those are definitely the things that I would say were beautiful, the things that I really enjoyed about Mogadishu, Somalia, for sure. Now you might ask, what was difficult? So one of the difficulties for, like I said, the average person traveling there would be the checkpoints, you know, having to stop every few minutes and getting checked and getting questioned. Luckily, I had access to official vehicles because of my friends. Shout out to them. Shout out to Jay, shout out to Sharmaki, shout out to all of them, that I was able to, you know, evade some of these checkpoints and not have to be questioned over and over again. I know other people that have traveled there have had this trouble, and that is one of the things, like as a civilian just traveling, you will have to experience that can be a little bit troublesome. but you know, comes with the territory for now, until it changes. Another thing I would say that was a little bit like not so nice, I guess you could say, was like the roads. Some of the roads are like so bumpy, man. Like, you know, you're riding in a 4x4, but it feels like you're, you know, literally just sitting in a rickshaw with how bad those, you know, you're bouncing up and down off your seat. And this is in the capital city, so I can only imagine outside. Some of the roads are not even paved or tarmac, and that was the first time I've really seen roads like that in a capital city. You know, usually capital cities are the most developed city in the country, but you know, I guess Mogadishu is on its way, and I see that there's a lot of potential coming. So, but those are some of the things I think that would be difficult or not the most flattering things, you know. Now you might be wondering, what was the cost of things in Somalia? What is the cost of daily life? And to be honest with you, it was very reasonable. But one thing you do need to know, which is also very interesting, is most, actually if not all transactions, even the ATMs, the banks, all deal in USD. So even though they have their own currency, I think it's called a Somali, I don't even know, Real, I think? I don't even know what it is, but they don't use it. You won't see that being used. And actually, most of the time you won't even see people dealing in cash because everything's on the phone. So you take your money, you have your phone number, you put it on your phone, and then people just transfer each other using this phone number thing. But yeah, like, you know, a meal, you can get a good meal for like $5 to $10, a good meal. You can get a fresh juice for like $2. You can get a coffee for like $2 to $3, a good coffee, which we did. And yeah, I mean, just like basic things here and there. Now, I didn't have to stay at a hotel because I was staying with my friend, but if you do have to stay at a hotel, a good hotel will run you anywhere from $50 to $100 depending on what you're looking for. But like I said, traveling there is not an expensive trip. I think the most expensive thing is just the flights, because there's only a few airlines that actually go to Mogadishu airport, like Qatar and I think Ethiopian Airlines. So yeah, so that was the biggest expense, was like getting there and leaving. But actually being in the country is not that expensive. So just to wrap it up, what were my overall thoughts? First of all, I have to be honest, I think Mogadishu and Somalia is one of the countries that I've been to where every corner, from talking to the people, from seeing the infrastructure, from seeing how hard they work, their resources, the geolocation of Somalia, honestly has so much potential. And I think there's a reason why there are powers that be and bigger powers at play that don't let Somalia thrive. And I think there's a reason for that. And I think it's because it's close to so many countries that rely on a certain economy. You know, I don't want to say too much, but they say that Somalia has a lot of oil as well, hidden underneath its fertile land. And yeah, I just think there's something bigger at play that's stopping that country from really growing, because the people are ready for growth. You talk to the average person, you talk to my friends, you talk to the young professionals, you talk to the people who are really invested in the country. They want nothing but growth. They just want to move forward. But you know, obviously you have powers at play. It's obviously the older generation, which seems to be doing it in a lot of parts of the world, not letting things move forward because they are able to capitalize off a place being in the position that it's in. And if it changes, maybe they won't have their kind of claws dug into it the way they want. So I do think once Somalia frees itself of those things, I think the potential and the growth is, I mean, it's going to be unfathomable. But yeah, with that being said, I mean, my time in Somalia was great. I had a wonderful time. Would I go back again? Yes, obviously I have friends there, so you might even see me back there in the next few years or whatever. But you know, just to be able to go to a country that a lot of people will probably never visit in their life, one, because they won't have the opportunity, two, because they don't need to, or three, because they're too scared. But if you're somebody who's interested, if you're, you know, an adventure traveler, or if you're a Somali diaspora who wants to visit, I would say this is a great time, because like from what I've seen, now things could change, you know, things could change on a dime, so keep up with it. But I think Somalia is on its way forward, and I hope that it can keep growing, and the next time I go, that I'll be able to show you guys what advancements and what developments have been done. So yeah, but my overall thoughts of Somalia and traveling to Somalia, honestly, it was a great time. You know, the YouTube comments on my videos were mixed. You know, some people appreciate that I came and tried to show another side of Somalia. Some people were like, oh, you're not showing the reality. Some people were like, oh, you have a different taste because you're a tourist and a foreigner, and all of those things could be true. But I'm just giving you, like I said, my opinion and based off my experience. And yeah, guys, just wanted to let you guys know what my thoughts were about visiting Somalia, and I would definitely go back. If you haven't watched that 4-part series, here is the link again. Go watch it. I think you guys will really enjoy it. And remember, continue to learn, continue to grow, and there is no growth until you leave your comfort zone. I'll see you guys on the next one. Peace out.